Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm green.
Hello.
Hi, Nag.
Hello.
Hiya. So, Will Ainsley and Malcolm Turner. Thank you for that. What was it like watching?
It's very indulgent,
body-
isn't it? Very indulgent. We speak a lot, and my
There's a
films
lot
are,
of words in those films.
yeah, and my films are too long. Definitely.
There's some
The ones
others-
that I do more on my own, they're far too long.
Do you think?
Yeah, Longbird. I've seen that about
How many times?
10,000 times, and you've got to just cut out like 5 minutes of it. Really.
Nah, no.
Same a
I
half
think
hour.
Yeah, no, I'm with Nag on that one.
I disagree.
I was on a jury at a festival in Korea,
Right.
and there were 3 English-speaking jurors and 4 Koreans, and all 3 English-speaking jurors wanted Longbird out of all the films, and the 4 Koreans were like, makes no sense to us at all. And the translation apparently, like they'd given me a guide, and my guide was like, it's insane.
It's
the
excruciating. It
translation.
must be excruciating.
And for them, it's like a bird that keeps doing insane
Just
stuff.
a minute. You need a
Doesn't make
minute.
any
Just put it on
sense.
for a minute. and that's it.
Untranslatable was the...
Yeah. So, what is this thing with birds and pigeons?
That's you.
Is it me?
That's your fault.
Yeah, my mum and dad are there. Hi. My mum's really scared of
so
birds.
you're blaming it on them, are you?
I'm blaming it on my mum. Yeah.
On your mum, right.
I don't really know. I think it started with Longbird. You know, like it's like we talk about the silhouette, don't we? Like with animated characters, it's like, you know, Mickey Mouse is so recognizable. It's 3 circles, and I think I got told that in college. So it was like I cut out this bird shape, and I think I just stuck with it. That's a terrible.
They're everywhere as well, birds, aren't they? They live, of all the animals, they're the ones that are around us most, probably.
Do you think?
Are they? I don't know. Rats? Are there more rats?
No.
They're not as nice, though, are they? We couldn't do animated rats.
No.
Birds.
These 2 are just going to interview themselves, aren't they? We should have been on either
yeah,
side of them.
yeah.
I just wanted to
We really
point out their
shouldn't.
parents. Like I have a couple of parents who come to realise that they wasted all their time educating me. But I can tell you that as somebody that watches between 4,000 and 6,000 short animated films a year, these guys do something that almost nobody else on the planet can do. They're in this kind of rare group of a couple of hundred people that actually kind of nail it. I think
Lies.
though that the birds, I mean, you know, you can see.
Oh God. Say something. Say something impressive.
Say something funny.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
Funny,
time to say
dude.
something funny.
No, there's nothing come. No, wait.
Sing a song or something.
No, there's nothing more come.
The
Squeezed
thing
out all
about
the funny.
the birds is kind of obvious. You know, it's an obvious. You only have to sit in the screen and do that. But I think the power, the guts, the centrality of most of the films that we saw is really about not even dialogue. It's about an interaction of language. It's about a kind of confidence with manipulating language, which is immediately evident when you meet you 2 in person, but it translates onto the screen. I'm interested in going one layer below the visuality of the birds and all the rest of it. Is like, so where's that facility, that kind of guts with the language?
I think I know what you're talking about, because often when we're recording dialogue, we'll have a vague idea, and then we'll jump in, and usually to begin with, I always feel like we're woefully unprepared, and you always feel a bit like, I'll be all right, we'll just jump in and we'll get going and something will happen. And I'm always a bit like, no, wait, slow down, please slow down, wait, let's think about this, slow down, what does this mean? Let's figure it out before we jump in. And I think there's something about that, like tension, that reluctance, like I'm slightly more reluctant than you are. And then when we start improvising, there's always a point where suddenly something becomes funny, and I'm often surprised by it. And it's like, and I still don't quite understand, but when it happens, you feel it, and it's like one person pulls one way and another pulls the other way, and suddenly something balances, and it's like this tension of comedy or something, and it's like.
Yeah, but there's an interaction. There's a pendulum swinging through a lot of not all of them, but through a lot of the films, between the comedy and the
Pathos.
The pathos of a situation,
Absolutely.
and then it goes back to the comedy. Then it goes to the pathos. So
We've talked about that as well, like how like I'm always looking to poke my finger in the place where it's sad and it hurts. I want to go there, and you can't resist like diffusing it with a joke.
Yeah.
And then I want to make it sad. So there's something about like that blend of something tragic.
Yeah,
that I
just
want
trying to find something funny out of monkey love experiments, because it's tough, isn't it? It's like
killing a monkey in a
killing
laboratory.
a monkey. It's tough. Yeah, so you need a little bit of lightness there, don't you? Yeah.
That's a very dark film.
Yeah, we really actually were really unsure about it when we did it, weren't we?
I've enjoyed it more and more. We did a talk yesterday as well, and then yesterday and today, like watching that film, I appreciated it more. When we finished that film, I remember feeling a little bit disappointed with it, like we'd lost our way, and it didn't quite
It didn't
sing.
feel quite as kind of honest or something. Is that right? Maybe not.
Something.
It's a lot like it was the first film that we got commissioned, so it was like the first time we got money to make a film. It was kind of out of college, so we'd done our grad films, and suddenly it was like super, like we scripted it, and it was like really tight, made a really tight animatic, and that's not really what I'm all about, you know. And it was almost like a screenwriting lesson for us, wasn't it?
It's like the most kind of professional film that we've made, where we kind of do things by the book.
And it's a bit different from the other things as well. It's funny but I think that's what we were interested in at the time. It's like not really that concerned about doing the same thing again. But then we do all these shorts that are exactly the same. We have one joke, basically. You want to do something, and I don't want to do it, and I'm persuadable. That's it. That's the joke. That's it. And I kind of want to do it by the end of it.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did you meet at Edinburgh College of Art? Did you know each other beforehand, or is that...
Met at art school, and I think we bonded over a distaste for animation.
Right.
To begin with, we just like
Most of it's awful, isn't it?
Aye, we
Much
got
like
together
Nag
just
and
went,
I,
animation.
I'm not saying
shite,
that
isn't
ours
it?
is great.
No, but
it's brilliant.
We
but
were
most of it's
both
awful.
we were both like, oh god, usually animation's about like a magical dragon in a faraway kingdom, and we were both like, oh, I don't want to make a magical dragon in a faraway kingdom. Sorry, there's probably people here who have a film in about magical dragon in a
The
faraway
dragon in the
kingdom.
magical kingdom.
Yeah, but Don's name turns up in credits.
Who's
for
that?
making like Don Howell, like the
Donald.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he helped you make armatures and things like that. Like
Oh,
you must have.
he's brilliant.
You must have impressed him beyond just being a teacher at ECA.
Donald Hallwell was the animation tutor at ECA for 27 years, and he's the most beautiful, beautiful man.
Yeah.
How do you know it was 27 years?
Just remembered it. 27. Someone
Just make
said.
that up.
It's a magic
No.
number.
It's a really specific number. to remember.
87.5% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
It's lovely.
You've been counting.
I'm not.
So he's left now.
He's left now. He retired
years ago
when I
did he
was
leave?
there. He left 9 years ago.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why would you not believe? Why would I be lying?
Yeah, the makers of Long.
You're like Trump.
Really, believe me.
So, but you were in different years.
Will
at
was the year
ECA.
above me.
So I'm slightly better.
Right.
I'm still catching up.
Just talking about your film school films, so Longbird, which you made at film school, I mean, I sort of heard that you were under pressure not to make such a long film.
I think that there was a warning, yeah.
And yet it went on to win countless awards.
It's weird, yeah. It's a film about struggling with your creativity. It's a film about not really knowing how to make a film, and I was really in the right place for that there because I had no idea. So I think that we talk about safety, don't we, when making films? It's like you build in the safety that kind of gets you through it, and that safety was, I have no idea what I'm doing, so like that'll help you out in the long run. So the narrative becomes that. It's like, well, you have to write and you have to change things and you have to think about distribution and you have to think about all these things. And those are the things that I was kind of thinking about. So
I don't actually quite buy that from the outside. One of the common threads that went through a lot of those films for me was, we're looking at, in many, not all of them, but in many cases, we're looking at animation about animation. We're looking at animation about the animation process, and I don't know whether you guys really set out to do that or whether that's just kind of an inherent part of what you do. But over and over and over, these films they're animators' animation. And I kind of also wanted to explore that at a certain point. I was going to do it later, but since you bring it up now, it kind of locks into another thing I wanted to ask you about. It's like you're clearly, pretty happy to work across a whole number of techniques, but across all of those techniques, one of the things that underpins those things is this is about the animation process as well. And I wondered if you wanted to expand on that or shoot it down as a theory.
I think I agree with that. I think it's so like animation. It's so kind of made up. And I was watching. I think when I did Longer, I was watching like making of things, and I was much more interested in the making of the film because it was kind of real. It's like these people are like making this thing, and it's mad, And the actual thing itself wasn't very good. Or in my eyes anyway. And I kind of thought that's more interesting. And I kind of still think that. I kind of still think the making of these films are more interesting sometimes than the films. So when you kind of just let yourself off the hook a little bit and say, look, I'm going to expose how this is made and I'm going to, be playful with that, I think people really kind of respond to it. I don't really, we didn't do it in Monkey, but I think we do it in a lot of things. Like Have Heart's quite like that too.
I think it's part of the, it's like delighting in animation. It's part of the fun when you can reveal the trick to someone and then still trick them. It's like there's some really thrilling about that.
Stems is like that.
Yeah, it's reveling in the fact that it's a lie and an illusion, but then you're still taken in by it. So it's really enjoyable.
It's a weird tension, isn't it?
And there's all those. A dialogue with your characters within the films.
And there's something about when you put an animated character in the real world, when you expose him and put him in the real world, you don't give him his own world. It's almost like it makes him more real. Because, Longbird exists in the world that we're in, that's his environment. And it's it brings him to life even more almost.
All right, so reverse engineer that. Do you use storyboards? Let's start with the basic stuff. Do you use storyboards?
Occasionally, Monkey
I would
we
never
did.
do it, but I do it for you.
Moving on.
For stop frame. Because you have to. You have to.
Yeah, stop frame stuff we tend to.
Why did I ask? Script? Do you actually have a script that holds?
Monkey we did.
Because you needed the funders would have demanded that, I suppose.
Yeah. So we often have vague, with all the little short things that we record together, we usually have a vague idea. This character wants this character wants this. And then we just knock it back and forwards.
I think if we get paid to do things, if we those pigeon things are for the BBC Scotland, they put them online and stuff. I think we needed to write a paragraph.
Yeah, usually funders, it's going to be all right. That's not enough for funders. They
don't like that.
Usually.
No, they don't like that at all. It's weird. But yeah, we have a vague idea. It's like I think with Longbird, I'm just thinking of the first one. I find that funny, Mum.
Can you stop laughing, Susie? We're trying to have a conversation
it was like this in the bar when we were first discussing this. It's like, this is going to be entertaining.
Serious filmmakers now.
I think with Longbird, it was it's I know kind of where A and B is, or A and C is, and then I don't know what B is really. But I know that he's going to go in fire at the end, and he's going to be put on a street on a road, and he's going to get hit by a car. I know that stuff, but I don't really know the in betweens, and I like that because that makes it really exciting for me. I don't know what's going to happen. Have Heart is too long. But it was made chronologically, and I didn't really know. Apart from I knew the last shot, but I didn't really know where it was going, and that makes it really exciting to do it. Because if I had just written this thing that I know exactly what the scene, the shots are, and exactly what's going to happen, it's I've got no interest in kind of making that. I'm not going on a journey really. I'm kind of pretending. So if you don't genuinely know, that excites me. Like this silly little thing with the butter. Where's the butter? It's I have no idea what that is where that's going. But that's totally fine because it'll keep me doing it. And it might be shit, but, we'll see. And then it might not be shit.
It can be because it can be a grind when you've like storyboarded something and you look at it and you go, I've got a minute of this to animate. It's like this can be really hard going. So when you don't, like you say, when you don't know where it's going to go, you've at least got some. You're a bit curious yourself.
Yeah, Stems was a bit like that. You
Stems
didn't know all
was-
that. You didn't storyboard any of it.
Stems was like that, and Shackle was like that as well.
In the woods.
Stems, though, and this ties into a number of things, and the next question I was going to ask was, there's a kind of a physicality, I think, also. Like I was looking for common threads, I suppose, that ran through a number of the films. And there's a certain kind of physicality in most of your films, even the digital ones, even the flat 2D digital stuff, they're still about characters being torn apart or physically dismantled or whatever. But in the stop motion stuff, you're not just talking about puppets that are on stage, like you're building the puppets, you're explaining how these things are made, that you're depicting these things as physical kind of creations that are happening in front of us. What is it about the physicality of these characters that you like, or why do you want to build that into?
I don't know. I suppose it's more about like, it's the aliveness of them as well. Again, it's that thing that we're talking about exposing the trick. It's like if you just show, like with Stems, I was interested in like at what point, because when you're making puppets, there is a point where you go from like this is a bit of wood and a bit of wire. There is a certain moment that happens where it's like, oh no, he's a little guy. He's a little guy now, like in your head, and you can feel him, and then you start going with it. So it's like that I really wanted to try and put that on a screen, like let people try and enjoy that edge between like, oh, it's just a bit of wood, they're just things, and then it's like, no, there's life in it. Suddenly, where's that moment where there's life? I think that's part of it.
It's the same with like just the simplest shapes as well. That's what I like. Like the Adult Swim stuff. It's just like it's a hexagon or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's great. Just put some eyes on it and just move it about, and it's got life. It's kind of fun and exciting.
Yeah. How little you can use to make something alive.
Yeah, you said it.
You don't have, you seem to have a lack of backgrounds.
Oh, we both hate backgrounds.
Yeah.
We hate
There's so much
backgrounds.
work as well. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm not bothered. Yeah. But I think when you're talking about the dialogue, it's like we're really just more concerned about the characters. I think, that says it really, because
Really? Oh, I wouldn't describe what happens in a lot of these films as dialogue, but I would describe them as quite intense language interactions. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot going on in the language. There'd be I'm happy to accept there would be an element of improvisation or randomness about them, but very, very clever use of language. Like that was the thing that's the thing I consistently love about your films. So there's surely more going on in the language and in the script and in the.
Well, that definitely comes first. That's like what you make a lot more of the animation than I do.
I work a lot harder.
You work a lot harder than that. Yeah. But that comes first, doesn't it?
Yours or mine?
We can share.
There's another glass.
Don't touch it, man. It's filthy. They pump it out of the rivers. Like, do you go with this?
That's what comes first, isn't it? The dialogue and the audio. Like that'll be recorded and set and finished. Like you can listen to them like a little radio play. Yeah. Before any animation's done.
Yeah. All right. So now we're getting down to it. So how does that happen? Is there hours and hours and hours of this stuff that is
about half an hour? It's usually about half an hour,
45 minutes if it's not going very well.
So have you like hours of outtakes?
Oh, we got tons. We got. Yeah. I've thought about because usually when we realise it's working, we start laughing, and it's like, right, okay, that's funny, because one of us is laughing at it a lot.
It's kind of, it means it's going to work.
Aye.
If we're laughing.
It's
like,
partly
well,
the
we're-
relief that we realise we've got something that's going to work again.
Yeah, that's why they all often end with a laugh.
I
don't
like
they?
the idea that we could go back and just edit out all the laughter of all of the things we recorded and just make a massive short of just laughing.
Yeah?
That'd be a good short.
Would it?
Nah, maybe we wouldn't.
It's
It's not a good
it'd be
short.
rubbish.
You
But-
heard it here first. LIAF 2019.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about laughter. It's a weird thing. It's something I keep trying to figure out, and
That's why we
never,
tried to make you laugh, even if you didn't think it was funny.
I never get any further with it. Like, I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is.
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing when we laugh, though. Like, I don't know why. Like, I've read about it. Apparently, it's an evolutionary thing. Like, people, like bands of humans that were laughed would bond with each other, and then those that didn't would die out. So it's like a kind of genetic glitch.
Did you look at Nag when you said that? Why?
He likes laughing.
He likes laughing. So he's not going to
It
die.
would-
Is the
Those that
thesis that
didn't would die out.
humorless societies
They
are
die.
exterminated through
Aye.
a kind of process of creative Darwinism in reverse.
And we did, but it still doesn't really tell
I
you
wish
what it
I
is.
wish it was so. I truly wish it was so.
There was a point to this. We were talking about something. I've lost it.
Yeah, you lost it.
Just keep going forward. I'll tell you a funny
Just
story
sit in
about.
silence for the round.
I'll tell you a funny story about the Betty, about, where's the
Yeah.
butter Betty. I was at the Ottawa
funny.
Festival, and Chris said, he showed me, we were going through some of the films and the thing, and he's like, these guys are losing it, here's the evidence. He showed me Betty. I was in Thailand last week at POF, and they're like, this is the film we wish we'd shown. It's like,
Really?
yeah.
Was that Chris Robinson?
Yeah.
He didn't put it in Ottawa, did he?
No, because you
Yeah.
pissed him off and you
Yeah, no.
took him down at his own festival.
Q&A. He reminded me of that.
He's never going to show any of your films again.
He's not. Is he? He likes you, Ains. Doesn't like me.
That was the point you made, and he
Yeah.
took exception to that.
Quite
You should
seriously.
talk a bit about Dom, your
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah.
Forthcoming feature
Yep.
next year, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully next year. We've been working on this documentary for a few years now, right? And it came out of my mother, who's here. It's wonderful. She got cancer, and it really shook me, And I really didn't know how to process it very well. So I wanted to kind of explore that and make a film that gave cancer a voice, and started thinking about what that voice would be like. Would it be this like dangerous, frightening force, or would it be a nice little curious cat called Dom? So we kind of are trying to kind of personify cancer and make it maybe something that brings your family together. Maybe, it's not all this negative thing. Maybe it's maybe a sweet thing that's gonna make our family closer. This is really hard to say because my mum and dad are here, but that's kind of the idea of the film, and hopefully we'll get it finished quite soon. So, yeah. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But yeah, I think we're kind of, to go back to what we were talking about, like we're interested in improvisation, and like, so documentary makes a lot of sense. Like we don't know what's going to happen when we film things, and yeah, we don't know what's going to happen when we film things. So it's really exciting to make a film like that and learn something new and put that into the world. And above all that, I really would like to see a film that's about cancer, that's really kind of funny and pokes fun at it, as well as being very moving and important for people who, can't speak to their loved ones anymore. Let's talk about it. And that's what Dom is trying to do.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
I'm aware we've only got 5 minutes left, so we should throw this open to the audience. Does anyone have any questions for Will and Ainslie? We do have some roving mics.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
I say this as Anderson from Coventry. How defining or non-defining is your Scottish accent?
It seems actually, now you say it's pretty defining, actually, isn't it? It's something that we keep coming back to.
It says it up there.
Yeah, Dave.
And as a foreigner, I'm delighted to be in the company of a couple of genuine Europeans.
There's like Billy Connolly, who is quintessentially Scottish, and you guys sort of aren't, but maybe you are. I'm not supposed to pay you.
It's a funny place, Scotland. It's worth, and it's like
Funny little place.
it's a funny wee place.
Don't you just get the feeling this is going to finish up on the street? You know?
I don't know. I think it's like I think we only really laugh at things that we actually love. Like, you know, so there's, although we're kind of often seen to be taking the piss out of Scotland, it's because, you know, we love the place. And I think there's something Scottish about that. Like, you know, you're friends with someone from Scotland when they start taking the piss out of you. So there's a kind of love in
It's
it.
sarcastic, isn't it?
Aye. Yeah, I think it is an
Look at them
important part of what we
contemplating
do.
this. It's like, yeah, no, I'm going to do a PhD on this.
Pretending.
Any other questions for Will and Ainsley? Somebody? Yeah.
What would you say is the hardest piece of animation you ever did, and why?
I think it's probably Dom, because it's so personal, you know, like, you know, when you put yourself in films like Longbird, for example, I hate watching it, God, my big stupid face and my big stupid voice. But like, you know, that's kind of hard, you know, doing that. But I think because it's so personal, you know, it's probably the hardest thing. But to be honest, like, it's also kind of therapeutic, because, you know, Dom's quite funny. You know, he's quite a nice little thing. So when you can focus your energy on that, it's difficult in the grand scheme of things. But like, actually, you can kind of like get pleasure out of bits as well.
The animation's often not the. I mean, I find making animation quite.
You find it quite excruciating.
I don't know.
Do you not?
So, I don't know. I also get like I like the ritual of it. Like
I'm
like
just around you when you're doing it.
closing the door.
Seems like it's excruciating.
It's like that just finding this out for the first time or something. It's like, oh.
We've never really talked about animation, have we?
I don't really like it very much.
Bloody
Just like
animation.
going to
Wouldn't
the
we
pub.
make more money just running a food truck? You know?
It's a good idea. Yeah. No, yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, you do enjoy it, but there's
Yeah,
some of
it just like with a feature, we spend a lot of time trying to find money and trying to get things together, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
pretty-
that's
worse.
much more wearing than when you actually get to focus on making animation.
It's actually quite. I've tried to engineer it so that it's actually as fast as humanly possible for me. So I'll do like minutes in a day, but like you know, obviously stop frame you can't do that. So we are at a different pace, but I don't know. There's a common thread, I think.
Yeah, I'd still pick that over being served a taco by some dude wearing a Longbird mask. Well, we got maybe one more question.
Yeah,
time
another
there.
question. This.
All right, Dad.
Okay.
Tom.
My dad's been keeping a tab from when I was a little boy. Every year he points me to the spreadsheet and says this.
That's a good point.
Meet me in the bar. I'm 87 years old. I'm still working on my first movie. So.
Well, how do you make a living out of animation? Do you make a living out of animation?
Yeah, we make
By
a
exploiting people.
Yeah.
It's getting easier. Like the first few years out of college, we had to take just desperate things. We did desperate things.
Did we?
Terrible
What
things.
did you do?
I did terrible things.
Did you?
Aye.
God.
Things you don't know about.
Share them with the.
They're on
with
the
the
But
class.
it feels like the last couple of years we've been able to like pick and choose a little bit more and say, oh, I don't want to. I don't want to
We
make
often-
another advert for those people.
Yeah, we've got away with not having to do very many
Yeah.
of them. I think when you like what we tend to do is just get excited about something and then just do it, and that people see that and then they want a bit of it, and that's what happened with like the BBC, these pigeons, and that's what happened with Adult Swim, and I think it was Have Heart, and then they liked it, so they paid us some money to make some shorts. So it's
I think just like keeping going and trying not to care about money is important. I think a lot of it's expensive and time consuming, and a lot of animators get bogged down with, when I get funding, then I'm going to make this film, or I'll get some more money on it. It's like,
just make it.
you just have to grit your teeth and be poor and keep going. Has anyone got any money?
Let's have one more question.
We're going to pass a hat round at the end, if you could just...
One more.
One more from this man.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Just when we're sick of each other. Say like, I'll see you in a month or two. Let's go and have a break.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think everything that we've done, we'll always know about it, and we'll talk about it.
I think it's like a kind of sliding scale of we'll always at least say, I've had this idea for a short, and we'll talk about it. So I think that's the most important collaboration, actually, is just having someone that you respect who understands what you're doing and what you're up to, and like just the conversations. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then usually, Yeah. We can take the piss and take it seriously at the same time.
Like you hadn't seen my work in progress.
I
today,
hadn't seen
and-
Betty until
But I hadn't
today.
seen yours until the other day.
Yeah, but flip that around. Like, so what are the strengths and weaknesses? Like, we shouldn't be doing this. We've got to go. But like, what are the strengths and weaknesses? What's the big thing that each of you brings to this? Do you think?
I think that you will has a massive enthusiasm and energy and impatience. So you're always like, come on, let's get an energy for it. And I want to slow things down and think about it. And so it's a kind of, I think there's a
Yeah, you're more thoughtful, I think, and I'm a little bit more like I'll just like let's do it. Let's just do something. But I think that that'll change over time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit more thoughtful.
Uh-oh.
and maybe yeah.
That was it. I don't know. It was like I was going to say
I
something
think
else.
that's a good place to end. Okay, well, thank you so much, Will Ainsley.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you both for having us.
And a word to the wise, we understand the bar will be closing at 9:30. So
9:30, yeah, so get a drinks in now.
Where should we go if we all get chucked out? Where's a good bar near here?
There's a pub across the road.
There's a pub across the road. We'll see you there.
I like the color-coded microphone.